Hey guys, how we doing and how we feeling today? Okay, so on this episode 37, we're gonna talk about Meghan Trainor's fourth studio album titled Taking It Back. So, okay, at the time of this recording, it's the 28th of October of 2022, 3 days away from Halloween this year. And well, this album actually came out last Friday. So it was on the 21st of October, it came out, and we're going to talk about it. So first of all, Miss Meghan Trainor here, and it needs no introduction whatsoever. She started all the way back in 2014 with her smash debut single, All About That Bass, of course, which is now a diamond certified hit. It is, I think, she's only one of 15. Well, no, I'm not exactly sure about that information, but she's one of the few artists that have a diamond single within her arsenal. So, okay, now what did we have promotion wise from the album prior to the release? So, firstly, Megan kicked off this era with the lead single, Bad For Me, featuring country star Teddy Swims. I actually didn't know this artist beforehand, so I thank Megan for showcasing him, and now I know him as an artist. I have yet to listen to more of his music, but I actually liked a lot what he did with his feature. He has a pretty potent voice, strong voice, like Megan. So they did a pretty good collab there. And she dropped the music video as well for the song. Then we had two promotional singles. Don't I Make It Look Easy and Mama Wanna Mambo featuring Nati Natasha and Arturo Sandoval. And lastly, we had last week, on the week of the release of the album, we had the second official single, Made You Look, with the music video. So now, the album itself. So, okay. The album is 16 tracks long. It's 45 minutes and 43 seconds long. So it's under 46 minutes. So it's a bit long, not gonna lie. For me, I have talked about it before. More than 15 tracks on an album is already pretty long. For me, an album that is, for example, 12 tracks long is for me the perfect length for me, Emilio. But okay. So the first track is Sensitive featuring Scott Hoying. Scott Hoying, for those of you who don't know, is a member of the a cappella group Pentatonics. He's actually the lead there, the lead vocalist. So he's actually just doing backing vocals here, but he does it pretty well. He has a pretty nice voice. Okay, so this is an outstanding opening track. Megan is quite known for, I would say she's quite known for starting her albums off with a bang. Whether it be an intro or a proper full song, just as her last album, Treat Myself, which started with Wave featuring Mike Sabbath. Okay, so we're going to talk about her previous discography at the end. But now with this song, the opening track, Megan sings, this is a pretty nice lyric here, I don't need no fake friends no more. So this is a pretty brilliant song that showcases the reality of friends who turn toxic. And my, oh my, if I told you all of my experiences with toxic friends, we would be here all day. So that's enough said for that. And And I appreciate that Megan is singing about this really important topic that people go through every day. Um, and this is an excellent, there are excellent backing vocals, as I said, present all throughout the song, thanks to Scott Hoying in part. Now, okay, this song, this is a pretty exciting song for me to talk about. Track number 2, Made You Look. I mentioned already that this is the second official single. And not only is the video quite interesting and quite, I'll be real with y'all, I haven't watched the whole video. I have just watched the clips that Megan posted on Instagram, for example. But it's pretty colorful. I love all the pink. Reminds me of, like Sharpay Evans from High School Musical, and the mentions of brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. But that's not all there is to the song, of course. It's pretty deep, actually. So this vastly improves upon the opening track, pretty reminiscent of her empowerment themes like No and Me Too from the Thank You era, her second album. And this is an instant standout moment in the album, by far. Like, there's no competition. I would actually say that this is my favorite song on the album. Yeah, my favorite one. Okay, and this track and slash single will go on to become one of Megan's signature songs. She's already performing it on Jimmy Fallon, and the song is actually gaining traction on social media. So, because the video is pretty colorful. It has a lot of cameos. It has a cameo from her husband, Daryl Sabera, which you may know him from Spy Kids, the Spy Kids movies back in the day when I was a little kid. And Megan sounds as confident as ever. And I love when Megan sounds like this because she empowers me. She has empowered me ever since All About That Bass. That's when I became a fan of hers. And now I am a huge fan of Megan's. Now, the next track number 3, Taking It Back, the title track. Okay, so sadly, this being the title track, it is kind of a forgettable track. The album hits its first pit stop here, meaning it slows down, but not in a good way. However, there is a nice reference to All About That Bass, of course. Play that bass for me. But that's about it. Now, okay, so I think I forgot to mention that Sensitive, the first track, is along with Made You Look. Those two are so far highlights on the album for me. Now, moving on to track number 4, which is the next highlight for me, is Don't I Make It Look Easy. So this is a pretty brilliantly produced song from start to finish. The album picks right back up, thankfully. There is a great message here about handling life's day-to-day hurdles with much grace and poise. And Megan sings, Don't I Make It Look Easy, baby, when I do what I do. So I can relate to that because some people may see me now, the person I am now, and they may be like, oh, like, how do you handle, like, your everyday stuff? And it's like, I may make it look easy, but as Megan says, but it's far from easy. Like, there's a lot of stress behind the scenes, a lot of strong emotions, but you gotta handle it with class and grace, and poise, of course, as I said, just as Megan does. Now, track number 5, Shook. Okay, so this is a pretty repetitive song, but it's not in a bad way repetitive. It's a good kind of repetitive. Just wanted to point that out. This is not a bad song by any means, and this song feels and sounds like classic Meghan Trainor, which is always a good thing. Now, Bad For Me featuring Teddy Swims, the lead single, is up next. This is a pretty nice change of pace for Megan's lead singles because they all had been quite energetic, sorry. So we had for title that the her debut album, we had the best part, which was the intro. Then we had for thank you, we had Watch Me Do. And for, as I said earlier, for the last album, Treat Myself, we had a Wave. So they all had been energetic in some way, and this one is pretty different. It's more laid back. And now that she has a featured artist here on the lead single, because, well, for Wave, she had Mike Sabbath, as I said, but now she has a country star, Teddy Swims, and they handled it pretty beautifully, and it made for a pretty good lead single. And it's a highly important message that they're singing about, which basically is about removing toxic relationships from your life. Now, moving on to track number 7, Superwoman. Okay, this is a pretty important one because Megan showcases her vulnerability and beautiful pipes stellarly in a stellar fashion. She sings, "Call me Superwoman, but I know I'm not that strong. Even heroes cry, so why can't I? I don't really have any arch enemies. My only villain is myself." So, okay, this is some pretty heavy stuff here. Firstly, the thing about being called Superwoman, but she's not that strong. Yeah, it happens. Like, people may see you as really strong, and you may be that strong, but you don't feel that way because there are a lot of things holding you down. And so she sings, "Even heroes cry, so why can't I?" I mean, we all have to cry. I mean, we have to let those emotions out. You can't bottle them up because it only gets worse, like an avalanche. And this part right here, especially, I don't really have any arch enemies. My only villain is myself. Yeah, that's pretty relatable because I have dealt with self-destruction in the past, and this is pretty true. I have worked on that, but it's pretty true. When you're your worst enemy, you only go downhill from there. Now, track number 8, Rainbow. This is a nice song to follow up from the previous stellar track. Megan brilliantly switches from what seems to be another ballad. She makes a fake out on the album to a more mixed song sonically. And she sings, "You're as colorful as a rainbow, and this world's gonna love you." So it sounds like she's empowering someone else. Or maybe she's talking about herself, who knows. Now, the next track, Breezy featuring Theron Theron. The production can come off a bit annoying at the beginning, and the album sadly loses its momentum once again. The featured artist doesn't really add anything to the song. And Megan sings, "Just be grateful that you woke up with that happiness in your cup. And don't lose no sleep. Repeat after me, I'm cool as can be." So she's like, just be grateful for your blessings, be blessed, feel blessed. Don't make a lot of tantrums. Like, there can be things that you don't enjoy, for example, of your job, of your college major, or whatever it may be, but you have to just keep going, just carry it on, and yeah. Now, okay, track number 10, Mama Wanna Mambo, featuring Nati Natasha and Arturo Sandoval. So this song is another standout track for me, and objectively speaking, I can say that this track is pretty damn good. The album picks up the slack once more. This is Megan's second Latin pop collaboration. It's her second one, following her feature on CNCO's Hey DJ remix with Sean Paul back in, I think it was 2018. This really adds diversity to the album's overall sound. It really needed that. And Nati Natasha, the reggaeton star, who I am a fan of personally, adds some Spanglish flavor and seasoning to the album with her brilliantly utilized feature. She had a small verse, but she really did her thing, as she always does. And the song really makes you want to get up and dance. It really is a signature Megan song. just like Made You Look. Now, track number 11, Drama Queen, undoubtedly intriguing title. Meghan sings, I might be a drama queen, but I'm still royalty. Even when I'm crazy, I'm still your baby. So she's basically like empowering herself, like, and standing by her, her when she gets all like a drama queen mode, but she's still royalty. She's like, I'm still the queen. Now, While You're Young, it's a relatable title. Meghan sings, While you're young, go on and make mistakes. Give your heart a break and remember when life goes on, try to take every moment you got before it's gone. So this is a pretty important message for us, especially us younger guys and girls. I'm in my mid-20s, so this is pretty relatable for me because you have to stop every once in a while and just taking the moment, take it in, look at the flowers, look at nature, whatever it may be your thing, but don't get caught up on the stress and all that. Just and make mistakes. Life is all about trial and error. Now, track number 13, Lucky, the last of my highlights on the album. When I'm giving you all my attention, can you take a hint? Meghan sings. So Meghan is basically feeling herself here, and the song's beat is quite infectious. Track number 14, Dance About It. Meghan sings, Why talk when we can just dance about it? So this is a pretty straightforward song, not really that deep at all. Track number 15, Remind Me. Meghan sings, and my thoughts stay running, and the heartbreaks keep coming. Remind me that I'm more than enough, and take all this pain away, throw it away. Remind me that I'm gonna sparkle again. So Meghan showcases her vulnerability once again here. And lastly, the closing track on the album, Final Breath. Really fitting title for a closing track, I must say. Meghan sings, this is pretty deep stuff here. She sings, if I could, I'd do it over again. Because I'm good growing old with my friend. And we'll be laying there, your hand in my hand. I'd look at you and see the memories we have. And the words I choose for my final breath will be, I love you. Basically, she's talking about Daryl, her husband. And yeah, with that, we close out the album. So what is Meghan talking about in this album? She's basically talking about, her vulnerable side, her insecurities. But on the other hand, she's talking about empowerment, about, her married life, how it's going, toxic, sorry, having a bit of a rough time speaking today. Toxic relationships, whether it be friends or, past lovers. And yeah, that's basically what she's talking about in this album. Pretty interesting material to talk about. Now, okay, so what are my final overall thoughts on the album? So Meghan, for some reason, I realized this when she announced the title of this album back some months back. When she said it was gonna be Taking It Back, I was like, okay, so that means every single album literally has started with a T. It's title, thank you, Treat Myself, and now Taking It Back. So does Meghan have something with T's? I don't know. But and Meghan is at her most mature lyrically in this album. Now, is this Meghan's best studio album to date? It's not. It is not. Which one is her best album to date? I say it confidently here. Treat Myself, her third studio album, is her best album to date. Let me explain why. I have a few notes here. So, with title, her debut album, it's an outstanding debut album. All the singles were chosen wisely, and this is her most successful album to date, commercially speaking. That is true. Now, with Thank You, her second album, Meghan opted for a darker color palette for this era, whereas title was all like blue, pink, purple, yellow. And with Thank You, she went for more like black. She dyed her hair red, like a red brownish color. And she only built upon her already established brand of self-love and empowerment here. Now, with Treat Myself, this is where it gets interesting. Meghan tells a love story that went down with her now husband, Daryl, which she kicks off by singing about overcoming a former lover. And caps off by singing about how she feels whole with Daryl by her side. The album has zero skips, none at all. It's bop after bop after bop. It's 15 tracks long. Every single song has a place in the album, within the story. And there are exciting features on the album, especially she has songs with Nicki Minaj and the Pussycat Dolls. And the album is quite varied sonically. Meghan's lyricism has truly come a long way since the title album, and Meghan is at her most vulnerable and mature at this point in her discography. Which brings us to Taking It Back. So, yeah, I mean, I said what I said about Taking It Back, but now you can see that it is at least for Pop and Bob / me Emilio, Taking It Back is not her best album. Treat Myself is, by far. Now, what score do I give Taking It Back? I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty good score. Pretty good. And yeah, guys, that was it for my review of Taking It Back by Meghan Trainor. So, where can you follow Pop and Bop on social media? On Instagram and Twitter, Pop and Bop is at Pop and Bop. On TikTok, it's at Pop and Bop 1. And on Facebook and YouTube, we're just Pop and Bop. Just like that. And yeah, guys, this has been Pop and Bop. I'm Emilio Fernandez, and thank you so much for listening, and catch you next time.